So guys, thank you all very much this Monday morning for attending our first Future Jobs and Opportunities Week Skills Boosting Programme session. I'm Shaunagh and this is my colleague.
Hi everybody, I'm Shaunagh too.
So you will have two Shaunaghs in the session today with you. So as the session says, first and foremost, we've done a little bit of finding out how everybody's feeling this Monday morning. There's a lot of smiley faces, which it is fantastic to see. The session today is about that ultimate CV makeover. So it is going to be a short, sharp, punchy session, and I'm going to get you involved from the get-go. So going to ask you a very simple question very quickly. And I want you to pop into the chat box here for me now at this stage. So the main chat box is, can you tell me how long does an employer spend reviewing a CV? Any ideas? Has anybody got any ideas how long does an employer spend review? 7 seconds. I'm not going to say anything yet. Anybody else? We've 7 seconds going so far. Let me see any other ideas, any other tickers for how long does it take? How long does an employer take spending reviewing a CV? 2 minutes, a few days, Reese, a few days. So we have a few days, 7 seconds, 2 minutes. Any other takers, guys? Any other takers this Monday morning? How long does it take? Let me see, 5 minutes, Sean, perfect, 30 seconds. Any other takers? Let me see, I'll open it up. 10 seconds. Right. Let me see, one month, 30 seconds. Right, we've a lot of different answers here.
Yeah.
So 1 minute. The average employer will spend, and Shaunagh can back up on this here, is 9 seconds. So Rachel, you're the closest to it. Now, if we had been on campus, you'd have been getting a wee prize at this stage, but I think just a wee kudos to you now at this stage for that. Yes, 9 seconds it takes for an employer to review a CV. Now, so I want you to absorb what that actually means. So 9 seconds, that is nothing. It is a blink of an eye. So we've had a few different examples from a few days, 5 minutes, 30 seconds to 1 month. It is 9 seconds it takes for an employer to review your CV. So this is the question, and I'm actually going to put up now. Let me see. Wanting to see, yes, I'm going to put it up on, I think I might put this up on the whiteboard. Let me see if I can put it up on the whiteboard now at this stage. So I'm going to see if I can put it up on the whiteboard. And so let me see, text box. So let me see if I can copy this across. Right. So guys, you all have the ability to go onto the whiteboard now at this stage, but I want you to ask, you just click on the T and you can do, so tell me, so how do you make sure that your CV stands out from the crowd? I want you to ask yourselves that question. Any ideas? I want you to sort of think about, how do you make sure that your CV, it should be your CV, just pop that down, right? Your CV stands out from the crowd. Any tickers? What makes an impactful CV? Any ideas? So you can go in and either you can pop it into the chat box, or you can actually put it on the whiteboard. So I'd like you to put anything. So what makes it good work experience, good profile, like that, I'm liking that. Yep, brilliant. Any other tickers? Any other suggestions? What makes sure that your CV stands out? Make a good summary statement, skills listed. Yes, we've some really good answers coming through here. This is brilliant. Any other tickers? Qualifications, extracurricular as well too. Try to keep it to 1 page. Rachel, it depends. It depends. Let me see. It should be short, snappy with some elaborations. It should lift all in 1 page, 2 pages. Reese, very good. 2 pages. Good presentation, extracurricular activities, backward chronological order. Good. So we'll talk about this. Anything else? Any other ideas? No spelling mistakes. Good grammar. All here. Some people are thinking on the same levels here now at this stage. Really good. Really good. So you are starting to see a photo of yourself. Well, we're going to talk about that now shortly. We are going to talk about well laid out like that as well too, well laid out. We're going to talk about the photo one now in a moment, because what I'm going to do with these now, anybody else want to pop up anything on the screen there? We're going to start to look at sort of CV layouts next. And this is kind of questions I'm going to ask you now with it. So guys, thank you very much for participating in that. I'm going to stop sharing that screen now at the moment, and I'm going to go back to the presentation. So guys, thank you. Let me see. This is what I found the last time with the system. It won't actually allow, it seems to at times not allow me to share some of the applications, which is quite strange. It doesn't seem to allow me, so just bear with me guys for a moment. There seems to be an error. Shaunagh, what I'm going to do, I'm going to send you across the presentation and see if you can upload the presentation, because it's not allowing me to actually share the presentation with you. So just bear with me guys for a moment. The joys of technology. Send away. So Shaunagh, go and see if you can upload it. It's just spilling here on the screen.
Yeah,
I want
no
to sort
problem.
of see. Yes, now let me see. Can I actually share it through here? So hopefully you can see this at the moment in time. So, well, it's up on the screen slightly now, but I just can't see the chat box. So guys, there are many different CV layouts. And one thing that I want to ask from you guys is that what do you think, Shaunagh, if you can man the chat box, this would be brilliant, because I can't see the chat box at the moment, is there is so many different layouts, and I'm thinking back to what some people have been saying about photographs. I want you to take a look at these 4 examples here of different CV layouts. And what I want you to do is I want you for each one of them. So John Smith, we've a few, I think I have 2 John Smiths on here, 2. So the first John Smith and the second John Smith. What do you think? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Do you think that you like it, or are you sort of going like, what's your thoughts around that? Is it impactful? I think that's the question I'm wanting to ask. Is it impactful? Can you see it in the sense of what's, would you, if you were the employer, if you were a recruiter, what would you think of those layouts? So I'm going to pop this into the chat box. Hopefully I've seen, you can see some of my slides as well too. But if you were the recruiters, what would you think of those layouts? And I want to sort of draw your attention to the 2 with the photographs. What do you think of them? What do you think? Do you think they're okay? Do you think they're impactful? Do you think that you can read them? Remember, we've 9 seconds. 9 seconds within that. Anybody, any takers, any ideas? What do you think as well too? Let's see.
And they look more professional. Lisa thinks they look too busy.
Yes. I agree, Lisa. I did agree. Second John Smith looks a bit social media profile. It does. It actually does. Now, what I would say as well too, what does the colour red indicate? Any ideas? I want you to think about, I've just popped it into the chat box there, red. If you see red, what do you associate that with? So you can see red and black there. What's your head sort of saying with something like that? Do you think if you were an employer, so if you were the recruiter and that came to your desk, seems a little too busy to me, should be simpler. Yep, I totally agree with you there. It should be a lot easier, it's very busy. But I'm going to say this as well too, think about your colours. Colours like red are seen to be quite, yes, you've got it in one, Kim, love. Yes, exactly. When we see red, we think of things like that. So to me, I would be looking, if that landed in my desk or landed in my emails, and I was looking at that, I would be sort of definitely going, yeah, I'm not too keen on that now. I'm definitely not too keen on that, because it is that indication. Now, I want you to sort of look at, we talked about, somebody had highlighted, should you put a picture up? What do you think? Again, I want you to think about this. What do you think? And I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to just see if I can do this in a poll. Should you put photo on your CV. So I'm going to put this up on the poll, and I'm going to ask you to sort of just do yes or no. Should you put a photo on your CV? Just to see what everybody's thoughts are at the moment in time. And it seems to be, right, I'm going to show the responses now at this stage, guys. A few more to answer. And the majority seems to be saying no. And actually, Shaunagh, what would you agree with that?
I personally wouldn't put a photograph on a CV, to be honest. What I have seen as a trend is people here are applying for creative type roles, like graphic design, or they tend to have like a colored CV, but in general, I wouldn't put a photograph on a CV or color.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
And what I would always suggest, especially because I do work with a lot of the creative students, is I would be sort of saying in that summary side, we're going to talk about sort of the structure now at the moment. I'm going to give you nice 3 key steps for that ultimate CV. Is very much if you've got a digital portfolio, from that digital portfolio site, if you've got a LinkedIn profile, there's where you put that URL in there as well too. So you don't necessarily need to have that photograph. But what I would say there is I just wanted to show you some of those CVs just to make you aware of them there, just to make you aware of what that looks like there. So what we're going to move on to now, because I am aware that we've got 15 minutes left of the session. It is a very short and sharp session. The ultimate CV makeover, we've really got 3 steps, and I want you to sort of go for that 3 key steps that we're going to be looking at. First one is formatting. And what I would always say there, do the basics. Concentrate on the formatting of your CV. Remember, you've only 9 seconds. So what I would say is you can see in the bottom right hand corner, I've put in Jill Morgan's CV. And to me, that's nice and clean and flowing. And I'm going back to some of the comments that people had sort of said in there. Guys, you already have got a lot of this. It's just now putting it into practice. Make it easy to read. Think about that black and red. Was that easy to read? I don't think personally that is. Plus as well too, you guys have already highlighted it's danger, it's warning signs coming through there as well too. Keep the font and the style. So keep the font and style the font and the style should be consistent throughout your CV. So don't be changing different sort of fonts or the style of the font. You might want to make some of your subheadings a little bit bigger, and that's okay. But if you've got a page that's sort of disrupted in sizes, that sort of again puts people off. Something that I had picked up and I had seen was I actually had seen a comment in an article that I had been reading, and that's why I've popped it in here. Too big looks a little bit OTT and can be seen that you don't have enough to say. Too small makes it look difficult to read. So you're wanting to sort of get in that even keel. And what we would say with that even keel is very much that ideal between a 10 and a 12. You shouldn't really go any lower than a 10 in there as well too. And again, some of the things that we've been picked up as well too, make sure your content is in reverse chronological order. So what we always mean by that is that the most recent, so you're here at Ulster, if it's your education, you will start with that and then to move down from that then as well too. Keep it to 2 pages. Now, Shaunagh, I'm going to sort of hand across to you because I want to ask you a question. If you were applying for an international opportunity in the US, would you go with a 2-pager or would you go with a 1-pager?
Probably a 1-pager. And it's your resume, you call it, not your CV.
It's your
yeah.
Yep, perfect. Yeah, and there is differences between your traditional CV and your resume. Your resume is definitely a lot more short and sharp to the point, while you get a little bit more room within a CV, which is 2 pages long. And again, some of you were coming up with some of these real formatting, things when we were doing that a little bit of sort of the whiteboard, double checking your spelling and your grammar as well too. You know, don't always rely on Word. Get one of your friends, get ourselves within Employability and Careers, that's what we're here for, to double check those elements there. And once you start getting those fundamentals right then, so that formatting right, it then is plain sailing then throughout. So the next step, now I'm going to go through this in a little bit more detail now at this as well too. Content is king. I want you to think about that. Content is king. Too much text on a page can make it difficult to read. Remember, you have 9 seconds. I'm keeping going back to this 9 seconds. So within your CV, it should be sectioned out. Now you might change the layout to suit what you have, but fundamentally, content is king. And I want you to think about these headings here. So personal information, so I'll just go through the headings first, and then we'll talk a little bit about each one of them then. So your personal information, your profile or personal statement, your education, your work experience, your volunteering, your skills profile, your interests and your achievements, and your references. Now, I want you to think about, so I'm going to go back to your layouts. With your layouts, you don't necessarily, you can have whatever layout you want. Think again, is it going to be easy to read? Is it flowing? We read from left to right. But as long as you've got that fundamental content in there, this is where then you can feel really comfortable with that ultimate CV. So your personal information. And again, I'm not going to go through each one of those areas there, but you know, traditionally, name, address, mobile number. One little thing, if you have a landline number in there, now I have a landline, but I don't have a phone. But do you listen to your landline? Do you listen to any messages on your landline? That's a question you need to ask. So think about that. Are you more contactable through your mobile? Email address as well too. Very fundamentals of thinking about your professional email address. You might have had an email set up during your teens for Facebook or somewhere like that there, and it might have been a little bit of a silly email. Is that a professional email address that you want to be setting out? Question. Your LinkedIn URL, or if you've got a YouTube channel, you know, you're thinking from that creative arts, that creative profile there. Do you want to show those elements within there as well too? The section that I'm really wanting to talk about is that personal profile, that personal statement. This really is your marketing pitch about you, of you. I would always say we are shy. We do not like to sort of talk about ourselves and sort of give ourselves those kudos. This is the opportunity to do that. So don't be shy. Ask yourself these 3 questions when you are doing your profile. Who am I? And I want you to always think about now at this moment in time. What have I got to offer? And where am I going? Those 3 fundamentals. Because that will tell an employer about you, what you've got to offer, and where are you going. That then career side then as well too. And again, this is where we can support you. So with an employability and careers, we can support you when it comes to sort of helping you with that. Your education. Remember, you know, you don't need to call out all your A levels, GCSEs, all relevant. What you need is sort of, you can just list them out. You don't have to go A levels, GCSEs, every single one of them. All you can do is just call it out in a nice line. I want you to think about then is if you're applying for an opportunity, you might want to pick out relevant modules that relate to that job. And I'm going to let you think about that, and we'll move, because we're going to be moving on to the last and the final step now, which is the one shortly, is the biggie of how to make that ultimate CV makeover. Your work experience and your volunteering. One thing I would always say to you is avoid paragraphs. Use bullet points to break up the role. Remember to use those active words when describing your duties and responsibilities, and try and not chat about that skill side. I'm wanting you to sort of think about those kind of active words, responsible for, it could be assisted with, organised, led, all those nice describing active words that shows what you do within your current job, be it a part-time job or be it volunteering. Your skills profile gives you that ability then to call out 4 or 5 employability skills that you can draw down on in all your experiences and working from university life and your interests and achievements. Now, I see, and Sean, I don't know if you've seen it as well too in CVs, we're just lifting out, and we've done it ourselves, just listing out awards that we've got. I want to know a wee bit about you. I want to know what interests you. So employers, even though a CV is your facts and figures side as well too, we want to know who you are as well too, and what's your interests. And you don't have to go into great detail, but we'd like to see that side of you as well too. References, you need one academic, and then one, then it could be work experience or volunteering. So you're thinking those 2 elements there when it comes to your CV. Now, as I said, think about this. If you have got the right content, your layout and will all then fall into place. Then you can decide what layout suits you best. This is the final step, and this is the one I would say is ultimately the key area here, is tailoring your application. You will tailor your CV for every opportunity that you will be applying for. When you create your CV, it is a live document, it is a moving document. It will move with you through your career, through your education, through your career, but also as well too, you will adapt that for every opportunity that you're applying for. So when you think about, I have a CV done and I can just send it out, it's not necessarily the case. It's more thinking about, what are my next steps? How do I tailor? So reading the job description, and this is really important, reading the job description, the job specification carefully to identify the specific skills that the employer is looking for. Tailor and prioritize your skills to ones that the employers are looking for. Again, remember you have 9 seconds. So you're wanting to have a nice, clean, clear CV. You're wanting to actually have your content there as well too. And you're wanting to actually have those skills. So when the employer is scanning through your CV, they are seeing those skills popping out, those criteria popping out. So your profile and your personal statement. This is an area where you can adapt and change. Call out the specific skills. Think about what we had said. A profile talks about who you are now, what have you got to offer, and where are you going. So call out the specific skills. However, be honest. There is no point telling an employer, I'm a fantastic presenter, I can deliver presentations to over 200 people, and then you're asked to stand up and speak in front of 200 people. So think about that honesty level within there as well too. Your education, calling out those relevant modules and projects that relate to the job. So for argument's sake, if you're applying for a computing placement opportunity, and they are looking to sort of have somebody who has programming skills, who can work with website. This is where you might actually start to drill down that within year 2 you're currently working on a group project of developing a website. So you're identifying again those specific skills and qualifications that they're looking for. Your skills profile. This demonstrates how you have those skills and what they're looking for, and you can draw them down from all your experiences, through your work experience, through volunteering, and your time at uni. It all counts. You can draw down in all those areas there. Now, as I said, this is a whistle-stop tour of getting that ultimate CV. How we can support you, and again, we're going to pop these on to an email, so if you even want to screenshot this at the moment in time, you can actually find out more about CVs and applications through our digital learning hub. So again, if you go into our website, which is ulster.ac.uk/employability, you can then follow the links then from the advice tab into the digital hub, where you'll find some really nice, useful YouTube videos and some documents that you can use to actually look at your CV. Another one that some of you might be familiar with is VMOC, which is our CV builder. You can access again VMOC from our website as well too. Remember uploading your CV in a PDF document, and then you will get instant feedback. What we would always say is then, once you have put it through VMOC a few times, then the final stop is booking in with your employability advisor for a advice appointment to review your CVs. Then at that stage then. So guys, we're coming into the last few minutes of the session. Some of you might be actually starting to move into another class. Some of the upcoming sessions that are actually happening today, we have our digital careers readiness that's starting at 11 o'clock. And actually Jackie's going to be running that session, so it'll be really good. And also Donna is running the Careers Cafe today at 12 o'clock for any of our placement students. This is actually, I think it's their placement students and then our graduates then on Tuesday. This is a really good opportunity to find out more about placements and students' experience of their placements as well too. Big plug now at this stage, guys, I'm going to say is actually you can, as I said, you can access our services, our advice appointments, also as well too. Follow us on social media if you haven't already. We are at Careers at Ulster. There is takeovers going on during this week. I think we have takeovers from Allstate and Almac. You might be interested to find out what they're saying. Eilish will be supporting them and finding out what are Almac and Allstate looking for in their students and their graduates as too. So guys, again, thank you very much. Apologies that there has been a little bit of a blip when it has come to the ITs. What we'll do now is I'm going to stop recording